show. This is the G-Lew show, changing the game episode. I don't know what it is, but tonight we're gonna call it something else. But
no, we're not doing that. We are not saying what episode this is. First of all, this is our 12th episode. Episode 1 dozen, okay, which is absolutely amazing because we have the best guest for our 12th episode.
Whew. Man, I know you've been so excited about this. It's been long over, we've been talking about this behind the scenes for a minute, and you were really, really excited about this as me as well. But you were trying to put this together for a while, and and you were really anticipating it and wanted it to work, and a lot of things behind the scenes people don't know that's been going on. We're trying to make this happen. So for it to happen finally tonight, congratulations to you, and I know you're excited about it.
Thank you. It's you too.
Thank you.
So
go ahead. What's going on?
Just jump right into it, don't you think?
Yes, go ahead.
So I would like to present to you all on Changing the Game, episode 12, the legendary Norman Carter of the Delfonics.
Oh, wow.
Hello, Norman. How are you?
I'm fine. And how are you?
Good. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on. We really appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Good evening, sir. Thank you as well. I'm G-Lew. Thank you for joining us tonight. Very appreciative of having you here in our presence on the platform.
So we're not going to start the traditional way. Normally, the way we start is we will ask our guests who they are and how do we know them, but we know exactly who you are. So what I want to do is start off with getting a little bit of history on your amazing career.
Okay, let's make it happen.
So let us know. From my understanding, what I read, you started singing at 10?
Yeah, somewhere around there. It could be even a little bit earlier. When I was about, I don't know, I guess 8, 9 years old, which would be actually back in the late 50s, I heard a young kid by the name of Frank Lyman and the Teenagers, and they did a song called Why Do Fools Fall in Love? And that was my first inspiration.
I love that song. That song is so amazing.
Isn't it though? Yes.
So after that, you didn't start off, the Delfonics were already formed when you started with them?
Yes. I actually came in contact with them around 1969. They came to my high school, and that's how the connection started. Yes, right.
That's amazing. So, being a member of the legendary Delfonics, I would say you are the king of the falsetto. So how did you develop the amazing voice that you have? Did it take practice? Was it something natural?
Well, obviously when I was maybe in my early teens, like say 13, 14, that naturally high voice that you have as a child, it starts to drop. It started to change. And so I heard a gentleman that was a member of the Temptations named Eddie Kendricks. And I thought his falsetto was the best I'd ever heard. And so I started to imitate him. And over a period of time, I developed my own particular style of singing with some similarities in our voice. So I've been doing falsetto a very, very long time. It feels so natural to me now because I've been doing it so long, and I'm very grateful and thankful that at this stage of my life, I would say have about maybe 85, maybe 90% of the voice that I had when I was a very young man. And that seems to, surprise a lot of people when I walk to the stage. I think you might have thought, no wonder what his voice is going to sound like.
Actually, I've seen you perform a couple of times, and this last time We
Okay.
were we had the privilege of being acquainted. I met him at a fundraiser for bone marrow, and when I met him, sweetest person on the planet. By the way, thank you for that. But hearing him sing, it's live is even so much better than hearing him on an album. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
So I actually wanted to ask you a question. I don't know if you've ever been asked this question before. Your original audience when you first started singing, what was your core audience when you started?
Well, when I started singing, I was living in Connecticut, and I would always go to New York because it was only maybe 40 minutes drive at the most. So I was in, Harlem quite a bit, which is where they had the Apollo Theater, and all the great acts would perform there. So obviously, my fan base would be the people from that part of the state. Brooklyn, Queens, Long Island, the R&B fans. So they were the ones, obviously, that would be my earliest fans and the ones that enjoyed the music that I enjoyed. So that would probably be the best answer I could give you to that.
Now, let us switch gears on this same question. How does it feel in with all the years that you've been working in the music industry to see the shift in your fan base and to have such a huge love from the lowrider community?
You know, one thing I found out when I came to California, and I've been out here since 1975, is that the Latino have an insatiable appetite for the classic R&B music.
Mm-hmm.
And I entered into that market when I started performing every year on the Art Laboe Valentine's Day Love Affair concert. The late, you know,
Rest in peace.
uh, and the audience was about 85% Latinos. So it really amazed me how much, I mean, they really support this kind of music. They even do it when they do their rap. They always do something that would kind of give a taste to the classic R&B.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of which, I see that you have a couple of collaborations you have coming
Oh
up in
goodness!
said
Yes.
community. Let's talk
Well,
about those collaborations if you don't mind.
this is something I could never see coming. Okay, my son, who's sitting next to me, Damon DJ Minus, aka,
DJ,
Shout out to DJ Minus.
he
made
been
it
in the
happen.
he's been in the business since he was a child, and a lot of these people who are now well known, established, either radio personality or rappers, hip hop, they all knew each other from when he was very young. But they were not aware until recently that I was his dad. And they were like, "Oh man, we've been listening to Mr. Carter, man, and we love him." Well, they couldn't connect the dots. So when that finally happened, it led me to now working with a few of the Latino rappers. The first thing we did, which was released on Friday, was Lil Uno song, and I love it. I came up in a totally different era. I mean, rap and hip hop was not my generation, but I really felt something that was special taking place when I went to the studio and they asked me to sing, the hooks to the song. And when it was completed and I heard it, I said, that's nice. Now, let's take you till today. Just did another one. A gentleman by the name of Baby Brown.
No, Brown Boy.
Or Brown Boy, I'm sorry. There I go. I'm off key right now. Brown Boy. And I like that even more because I had more dialogue in the song. I was able to sing a little bit more. So we're hoping that we can get that done, and maybe within a short period of time, uh, it will be released. And to end this portion of the conversation, we're going to Arizona tomorrow, where I'll be doing another collaboration with
NB Rider.
NB Writers.
Oh, wow.
Well, Mr. Carter, keeping it real gangster, huh?
You know, there's a gentleman that I met that he's a member of the Victory Outreach Church, and he called himself Second Chance. So I said, well, you know, he's a much younger man than me. Maybe I should call myself Last Chance. But I'm having the best time of my life. That's all I can say. You know, I'm really, truly enjoying this portion of my life. And, you know, I can't complain because there's so many of my peers that are not here anymore that was in the industry, you know? And I'm here, you know, I'm the last of that generation, and I plan to continually keep the old school music alive as best as I can.
That's a beautiful feeling, and I'm sure to be able to have been in the industry for so many years and have a whole new generation of people who are enjoying your music and giving you your flowers while you're still here. I'm sure that's a great feeling.
Oh yeah, you know, there's a certain feeling about being in the entertainment industry that is unlike any other profession that you could ever imagine. I just feel like you're like in a zone when you walk out on the stage and you see the people respond to you positively. You have to actually be there in person on that stage to know what that feeling is like. And it just keeps you alive. You know, I always said when I was a young man, when I get old, I don't want to be in the way. I want to be doing something. So that's the reason why I'm continually trying to not be in the way, just be relative to what is going on.
So that's good to know. G-Lew,
Yes,
let me
I'm
touch
here.
with you.
yes,
I'm
Mr.
here.
Carter. How are you doing, sir? Again, thank you for joining us. I'm just taking it all in and getting the history. Of course, I'm a longtime fan of the Delfonics, one of my favorite groups, along with the Stylistics. And you've been doing this for so long. But as you coming into the group, when you came into it, how I want to ask you, how long did it take you to maybe because you had the other members or passing members, and now you're a new guy in the group. How long did it take you to get comfortable? And I know you had a close relationship with Mr. Hart, but how long did it take you to get comfortable with the group?
Well, you know what? It was like when David Ruffin left the Temptations, Dennis Edwards replaced David Ruffin, and I had a talk with him, and he said it was one of the hardest thing for him to do, and that is to replace the legendary David Ruffin.
Right.
When I went out for the first time with the Delfonics, at this point, I started off singing with William, but then he decided that he didn't want to work as much as he used to. So he
Right.
had me and one of the members of the group. You remember a song called Love Won't Let Me Wait? The
Oh,
gentleman name is
I was gonna ask
Harris. Right.
Mr.
Okay.
Harris
Okay.
after this too. I was working with him, who I guess we'll
Major,
get to
yeah,
that.
former member of the Delfonics, right.
Yes,
So
sir.
when I joined the group, he gave me Major Harris and a gentleman named Pat Palmer.
Right.
And to answer your question, young lady, the first time I went out on the road, or your question, it was so hard for me to just relax because we were in Washington, D.C. I remember it like it was yesterday. The crowd was there to see the Delfonics.
Right.
I'm the new guy.
Right.
Can you imagine how much pressure that was?
Right.
Everybody know William Hart and they love him, you know, including me. So it's like, how do I fit into this man's shoes? We're in the dressing room. Major Harris saw how nervous I was. He said, Norman, he said, just calm down. He said, you're in this group because William Hart picked you So obviously you must have something to offer.
Right.
And as I'm walking down the hallway, going into the stadium, going up the steps, I almost fell. I was so afraid of how the response by the audience would be.
Right.
So one thing Major said to me, may he rest in peace, he said, look, Norman, one thing I can tell you, you can sing. So just do what you do best. He said, if you don't know the steps, don't worry. Just do what you can. And that was one of the hardest night of my life. I am telling you, but the audience accepted me, So at that point, I said, okay, I got one foot in the door, and now let me slowly try to put the other foot. It took quite a
Right.
while for me to be comfortable. You don't replace a guy like a David Ruffin or a William Hart that easily because they're really not replaceable.
Right.
You just do the best that you can. So, yeah, that's what it was for me in the beginning.
Wow, I asked you that for a reason, and you answered it good because you had passion in that, and obviously that was a major turning point in your life. Let me ask you this: how was it also as you continued on with the group, and years go by, and many years go by to where certain members are passing away, and now you have to get replacements, and you are the front guy, and you have to carry this thing along when most of the original members have passed away.
The first gentleman that died was the group consists of William Hart, his brother Wilbur Hart, and a gentleman by the name of Randy Kane. Randy Kane was replaced by Major Harris, and Randy was the first one of the group to pass. Then after that, Major Harris passed. We had just came off tour, and he went back home to Virginia, and came back to California. Got a call early one morning from this female that said Major Harris just died. I still haven't gotten over it. So there goes two members of the group. Now, William Hart, I still can't believe he's dead. I've known this man since I was about 20 years old. Some people in your mind, they can never die. So he died in I think it's 2022. Along the way, I've learned a lot because I met a lot of the singers that I used to go see when I was a teenager at the Apollo Theater. And they really, really complimented me on my voice, and so it kind of builds up your confidence. You start to get a little bit more and more comfortable. But for quite a while, I could always sing. I knew that. But connecting with the audience, which means you speak to them in between songs, it took me a while to do it, even though I knew I could,
Right.
So, gradually, like at this point, I'm very comfortable. I'm very comfortable because I've been doing a lot of shows by myself. A lot of times people want to book the group, but their money is not enough to book the group, so they book me. So where I'm at right now is a very comfortable stage of my singing career, and I'm constantly improving. Because they're singers and then they're entertainers. Okay, you got some people that are great singers, but they're not complete. You have to be able to touch the audience. There's several singers that they don't need to do anything more than sing. One is Luther Vandross. Luther could stand there and never do nothing but sing because his voice is so powerful,
Right. Rest in peace, Luther.
But, yeah. So, the journey has been, it's been unimaginable because I couldn't have imagined what the journey was going to be like. Yeah.
And I'm sure to be doing this since the 70s to now. And like Deandra said earlier, I'm sure you've seen over the years your crowds and everyone always loves you. Like my mom used to listen to him, so everyone. But now as you see, as far as the people in the crowd and the audiences, and now the different generations, and like you said, more Latinos and just everyone, younger people. You see the love. How important is for you to keep the legacy alive with the Delfonics, and like you said, the passing members, because now you have new generations that probably don't even know who they were. They just see you now. And some people may think you are just the guy, which you've been carrying it up.
What it basically boils down to, right, is that on the West Coast, I am the face of the Delfonics. There are more people that know who Norman Carter is than who William Hart is. They know that he's the guy. that was there, but they know me. They know me because I have an extremely large Latino fan base. Um, there's something, and I try to figure it out sometime myself. There's something uniquely magical about the Delfonics. I can't put my hands on it. You know what I'm saying? There's something about the sound of the Delfonics and that incredible voice, like William Hart. I've never heard a man sound like that in my life. The songs were so beautifully written, arranged, and the music. And I am here to tell you that all the years that I've been with the Delfonics, I'm still amazed how people are so still attached to the Delfonics and all the stories they tell me about what they were doing. Like guys would say, man, I was in the pen and I was listening to La La La.
Right.
People would show me their kids and said, the Delfonics was responsible for this. And I was like, oh my God. Something special. You know what I'm talking about,
I do. That sound is like no other.
Yes. So, it's just been a joy and a pleasure, man. I am eternally grateful to Mr. William Hart because he gave me the chance of a lifetime to realize my dream. So you can't ask for more than that. Yeah. And he didn't have to do it. And there were a lot of people in Philadelphia that was like, wow, why you pick that guy in California? All these singers they got here in Philadelphia, they got a lot of good singers in Philadelphia. But obviously he saw and he heard something in my voice, and he said, you know what? Because when he called me, I'll say this and finish this part of it. I got a call from him one day and he said, I need you to go out on the road with me. Just like that. And he said, I'll have a plane ticket for you. And I flew back to Philadelphia and went through maybe about 3 or 4 days of rehearsal. And then it started, and it's been a beautiful ride ever since. It's just wonderful.
Beautiful. Let me ask you two questions. I'm gonna turn it back over to you, Deandra. Since you mentioned Philly, and your time you spent there, what do you think? What was it about Philly, man? That sound of Philly, because that's birthed so many. When you're talking about this era of music, R&B, like the Delfonics, the Stylists, it was something about
Blue Magic.
Man,
the moments.
Come on, man. What was it about Philly, man? I don't know what it was. Just like Motown had their thing, but Philly birthed this sound right here. What was that about Philly, sir?
You know what? They had 3 gentlemen in particular that was responsible for the Philadelphia sound. Okay. One is Kenny Gamble and Leon Huff. The other one was Tommy Bell. Tommy Bell is responsible for the Delfonics and the Stylistics. So those guys were incredible writers, producers, and then you got to remember they had groups like the Intruders. They had Pendergrass was with the Blue Notes. You know what I'm saying? You got Billy Paul. I mean, it was sort of like Motown started off with just an incredible amount of singers. You're familiar with all them Stevie Wonder, Smokey Robinson, whatever. But when Philly came out, they came out too with just a whole lot of different talents. So it was just a period of time when it just started happening there. It happened in Motown first, Detroit, then it came there, And you got other places too. You had people out of Chicago where they had Curtis Mayfield, a group called the Five Stair Steps. So those things happening too in Chicago.
Right.
But Philly just had
something else, man.
Of very, very talented writer producers at that time. And they all just collaborated. And that's when the Philly sound really took off.
Man, to this day, like this sound right here is the Philly sound, like the Stylistics, like you said, the Intruders and all this stuff. Blue Magic. I mean, come on. But one more thing I want to ask you, just carrying on many, many years you've done this up to now, to not only see the different generations and people and races that love your music, but how does it feel to have really young people, like a whole new generation? Because people carry on the oldies, especially the Latino community, where they have their kids listen and love it. And you may have a real youngster come up to you and tell you they love your music. How does that feel?
Well, the Latino community in general have three generations of people that come to the show. You got the kids, you got the mother, and you got the grandmother. And I can't tell you how many little kids, now I'm talking about anybody that's like, say, under 10 years old or little kids.
Right.
And they call me the legend. When I was there last Saturday doing the video for the song that we just did with Lil Uno, they were calling me the legend. And I was like just overwhelmed with the love and just it just make you feel so special. It's a great feeling when you see little kids and you know they shouldn't know as much about a group
Right.
that came out with La 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 in 1968, but
Right.
mother and their grandmother play those songs. It's a great feeling. When somebody young really compliments you, it's special. It's different from an adult because that's purity. It's coming from the heart. You know, it's not somebody trying to pacify you.
Right.
It's a
Right.
great feeling, man. It's a great feeling. Yes.
Beautiful. Thank you for answering that. Go ahead, Deandra.
We have a few more minutes, but before we let you go, there is something that I want to cover. Your sense of style is everything that a man should be. What is your inspiration for your style, sir?
Well, I have to say again, it started with the Delfonics because when I joined that group
Oh,
and I
from that
went
era.
to William Hart's house, I said, "Oh my God, I had never seen that much clothes in my life." Okay, in the beginning, you know, they would send the outfits and we'd wear them. They come from Philadelphia. And I started looking at some of the stuff they were wearing, and the Delphonics just had this incredible style of dressing. You know, they would wear capes sometime, you know, like they're matadors. Okay. And so, you know, it started when I went downtown LA, and I got to give him a plug. There's a gentleman they call Fat Larry. His store is downtown, and I think it's on Main Street. When I walked in there, I saw a lot of pictures that he had on the wall of all the different, you know, singers that he had, you know, sold clothes. And he said, "You from the Delphonics?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Brother." And he went in the back and he just brought about 5 or 6 different suits and he just laid them down and just went back to working with the other, you know, the audience. And he gave me a chance to pick which one I wanted or which one I thought was best. So it really started there because he showed me what kind of clothes I'm supposed to wear as an entertainer. And I went crazy. If you see my wardrobe, you think I was Liberace. I can't buy no more clothes. I have too many already. You know, it became addictive. She saw me and she liked what I was wearing. Well, you know, when you see me, I'm going to always be a fashion show before the singing starts because I want to walk out there. And at my age, I want to look as good as I can. I'm 75 years old. You know what I'm saying? How many 75-year-old guys, Deandra, you've seen dressed like me? Not much.
Absolutely nobody. So when I met this man, G-Lew, you're wearing gold shoes. He's wearing gold shoes. Okay,
Oh,
with
yeah.
this dope like gold blazer, looking every bit of amazing. So
Yeah, and see, let me just finish off with this. I came from an era, and you gentlemen, you know, we came from that era where when the artist walked out on stage, it was sharp. Okay,
Yes.
first time I saw the Temptations, I said, "Oh my God!" I mean, these guys, tall, slim, nice looking brothers, but boy, they could dress. So that's my era. I can't come out there with no pants sagging, you know, all that crap. I'm here to represent a generation that are from my era. And, you know, that's the way it is. And I love it, you know. I mean, sometimes I wake up in the morning and I just dress up and drive up to Hollywood Boulevard and walk down the street and people be like,
okay, just be
"Who's that
seen.
guy?" There's no better feeling though to be a well-dressed man, you know,
Yes,
and to have people, kids, you know, people like walking with his little kids from Italy, whatever, and the little kid said, "Oh, sir, I love those shoes you wear." Because, as you know, DeAndre, my stuff matches from my hat all the way down to my
yes.
shoes.
So
Exactly.
absolutely.
Yes, yes. So, you
You
know,
know, I'm gonna
that's
need you
my.
to start giving a class, Mr. Carter, to teach these new generation of men how to dress the way the men used to dress.
Well, you know, see, you can't. Uh, uh, Look, these guys today from this era, They're rich. They don't care about clothes. You know what I'm saying? You look at all these guys that are millionaires in the rap game. You think they're gonna dress? No, because their audience is used to seeing these guys dress like this because that's what they've seen. They didn't see my era where they saw Smokey Robinson coming out there with a green suit. You know what I'm saying? So music is generational. Every generation have their own music and their own style. And the rappers, you know, their generation, they're gonna follow right in the footsteps. You know, my son, who's 25, he don't care nothing about the clothes that I wear. He could care less. If I died tomorrow, he'd throw them away. But you know, that's life. That's life. Yes, yes.
So, are there any future performances or projects that you wanted to promote before you go?
Whew, you know, my son just walked away. We got a bunch of stuff coming up, but I really don't have my itinerary with me. So,
but you're gonna be at Deandra's event, though. That's gonna be.
You sure are.
You know, that's the one you got to worry about, Deandra.
Absolutely, but we got a bunch of stuff coming up. You know, we have what is it called, the Latin Legends show. I think that's going to be in San Diego, and we got quite a few shows, really. You know, I mean, this year started out on a very high note. So
March 10th, you have something at the Garden Amp? Yes.
I can't remember. You know what I'm saying? I have to really look at the itinerary because I can't remember them offhand. You know.
Well.
And also, let me say this before I finish. I am going to be recording a song, and I can't wait because it's going to be written and produced for the Latino sound, and I know what their sound is. And so far, 2 songs that I have sang on, you know, by the 2 artists, I love the music that they play. So with that break, you know, I'll obviously it's going to be all over the internet. So you'll see something coming out representing Norman Carter. The Delfonics already been represented. Okay, so it's going to be Norman Carter, and I'm excited about that. Yes, yes.
So at least shows that I do know, you'll be at the Garden Amp March 10th with Slice Slick and Wicked with Elon. Yes.
Are you coming?
I sure am. That is my birthday month. I'll be celebrating all month long. Be there front row, Mr. Carter.
My favorite football team. I see something say, "Who's your favorite football team?"
That's Spanks. He said, "What is Norman's favorite football team?" This for you, Spanks.
Carter, please don't say the Raiders.
Yes, please say the Raiders. Yeah, Norman, what's your favorite team?
How did you guess?
The Raiders. The Raiders does it again, baby. The big bad Raiders do it again.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I was supposed to be in Vegas, but it didn't work out. But I would have just liked to be out there.
Sorry, Spanks.
Proud, you know.
He wanted you to say the Colts. Sorry, Spanks. The Raiders do it again.
Oh, don't worry about it. There's enough teams out there. Everybody got their own. My favorite basketball team is the Lakers. You know, it used to be the Philadelphia 76ers because I was really a big fan of Dr. J, Julius Erving, the
Julius
doctor.
Erving. Yes,
and
sir.
then I also like Michael Jordan too. You know, I mean, you can't lose with MJ.
Hey, we got one more question. Pomona Soul Sounds asked Mr. Carter, what singer, we didn't ask you, who did you look up to as a singer? Who was as you were coming up?
Well, when I started singing in a falsetto, like I stated earlier, I heard Eddie Kendricks, and he was singing a song go, "You got a smile so bright, you know you could have been a candle." I said, "Well, I like that." Eddie James Kendricks. But
Eddie was
there were others that I liked, okay? I really, really liked a guy named Peebo Bryson. Loved his voice. I love Marvin Gaye. It's kind of hard to narrow it down to one because I came in an era where so many great singers were around, you know? And if you want to really go all the way back to when I was like a teenager, there was a guy named Jackie Wilson. There's a guy named Sam Cooke, 2 of the greatest singers of all time. So, but the guy who influenced me in terms of my style of singing definitely would be Eddie Kendricks from the Temptations.
I love Eddie Kendricks. Just My Imagination is one of my favorite songs, and he's blew it away.
Yeah, Eddie was a monster.
Wow. Wow. Oh, one more thing I want to ask Mr. Carter, being a representation of the Delfonics now, uh, before it's all said and done, before God forbid, whenever leave here or just decide to not do it anymore. Because I want to ask you even what keeps you going because you're still going strong and performing, But when it's all said and done, what would you want to leave the world with knowing about the Delfonics for the
Well,
people?
I have to say that the Delfonics is one of the greatest groups to come along in the 60s and the 70s. And I say that because he had the most unique falsetto voice of all of the falsetto singers. Russell Tompkins' Alex is good. Billy Brown and Harry Reid, a moment's good. And Ted Mills from Blue Magic, they were all good. But when you listen to William Hart, nobody sound like him and never will sound like him. So I'm glad that I was able to get a chance to walk into his shoes. I can't say that I fit his shoes. And I have accumulated a substantial amount of fan support over the years because they are also like the sound of my voice. Because what I tried not to do is try to imitate William. I wanted to sing in my voice because that makes it even more easier for me to sing. When you try to sing like somebody else, it's a challenge. And you don't get a chance to really show what your vocal abilities are like. So that's why I stick with what sounds comfortable for me. That's it.
Beautiful.
Do you have any words of advice for any up and coming singer who's ready to live their dreams, but just is at the home stretch where they're just a little bit too afraid to kind of get their foot in the door?
I like this kid named Cisco. I liked him because he had a voice that sounded like a singer from back in the era. He's not up and coming, obviously. You guys know that he's been out there for a while. Right. I'm very impressed with Usher because, Usher is an entertainer. He's not just a singer. You see, there are not too many of the youngest singers today that I'm aware of because I'm so consumed with the singers from my era, okay? But there's just a few that I've heard, I can't really bring it, out right now. A girl that is not up and coming because she became a mega star that I really loved was Whitney Houston, one of the greatest voices ever. And they have some good ones out there. I know people talk about Drake. I don't know how good of a singer he is, but he's good enough.
Right. Doing it, I guess, right? He's a singer, rapper. Shout out to Drake. Hey, but Mr. Carter, speaking on that, I just want to touch on this while I thought about it. What do you think about the future, like, of R&B though? Because you come from an era where R&B was so much to us. You know what I mean? And we see it. I don't want to blame it on rap, but so many just the feel and the soul of R&B has kind of drifted away somewhat.
But you know what? The way I see for the future, first of all, what's happening now have such a strong hold on this generation that this is going to be around until they're not here any longer. It's not going back to the sound that I grew up with. Life is an ever evolving issue, okay? And even though, when I was about 10, doo-wop was the sound, right? Doo-wop, the stuff they called doo-wop back in the 50s and the early 60s. That went away. That never, ever came back. Because when my era came on the scene with the Motown, that replaced that totally. Now, with the hip-hop and the rap, the money is so big. I don't know if, look, it's going to stay the way it is. It's going to evolve into something else. It's not going back to what I grew up listening to. There are a few young people who are trying to keep it afloat, but the big money's still going into pockets of the rappers and the hip hoppers. It's not going into these really good singers. They're doing okay. So I don't know. I can't predict the future, but what's happening now, we've had more Black millionaires in the music industry than we've ever had. So that shows you the impact that rap and hip hop have on this generation.
Right.
That's all I can say. Yeah.
Good answer, sir. Thank
Okay.
you. Thank you.
So, Mr. Carter, where can we find you social media wise? And how, if anybody wants to book with you, where can they book you?
Instagram, Norman Carter of the Delfonics.
The Delfonics.
Norman Carter, the Delfonics. You go
Thank
there,
DD for
and my son take care of all of that. He's right here next to me, so that's where you'll see
Shout out
anything.
again to DJ
And if
Minus.
they want to reach out to us, they can, reach out to Instagram. Okay.
Thank you so much for coming on. We truly appreciate your presence.
Man, it was incredible. It was incredible. Oh, man.
Hey,
you don't know how many people made happy. You don't know how many people you made happy tonight, including me, but the audience listening on, like everyone in the chat loves you, because we do oldies a lot on here on this channel too, and just made a lot of people say they met you too throughout the years too. So a lot of people you made happy tonight. Thank you.
Okay.
Well, you just took our platform to a whole nother level, Mr. Carter. We won't accept anything less now.
Say again?
Thank you.
Nothing but legends on this channel now.
The bar, you set the bar too high now.
Sure did.
Oh no, the bar was set. I'm still trying to get up there. Okay, y'all. I'm out of here in the morning going to Arizona.
Be safe. Have safe travels.
Thank you so much, and do not purchase your tickets for the Deandra Chanel birthday party, where Mr. Carter will be performing live March 30th. We start at 7. We cannot wait to have you there.
And I'm going to bring it. I am going to bring it. Trust and believe that when I'm done, you certainly will be entertained. Okay.
Oh, absolutely. I wouldn't have booked you otherwise.
All right, sweetheart. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming on again. We love you so much.
Okay.
And
thank you.
If there's anything that you want to promote in the future, you're more than welcome to come back always.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm out.
Much love and respect. See you soon. Hey, man, everyone, again, that was a legend right there. That was a legend. I don't know. When we said we were changing the game, we meant that literally. So, I mean, you see it upon your eyes. We are changing the game over here. Tuesday nights, G-Lew, Deandra, Chanel, the Delfonics. Like you said, we set the bar. So it's only going to get better. We got A-Line coming up. We got a lot of stuff. This shit don't stop right here. It's not going to stop.
And the fact that we worked so hard to get this interview and we got it.
They don't know. I told them they don't know what happened behind the scenes. It's been a lot of work. Shout out to you, to Deandra, for putting all this work in. Shout out to DD too behind the scenes, just trying to make things happen, because it was going to go a different direction. We didn't know how it was going to go, but we were able to make it happen here, and it was just a beautiful thing. Thank God.
Yeah, and we have a bunch of projects coming up, you and I. We're going to be at Back in the Day, April 27th. We're going to be hosting and working the red carpet.
It's going to be, I'm telling you, people. When is that again? Give them the date again.
April 27th.
April 27th. We've been promoting it. And everyone's promoting it. So if you're on IG, I'm sure so many people are going to be there. Give them some of the people. I mean, it's going to be crazy. Lineup is ridiculous.
Little Rob, Jenny 69, MC Magic. They have quite a few performers that are going to be rocking the house. We're going to be there. There's a whole bunch of media that's going to be there, a whole bunch of vendors too. And I'm sure there's still time. If there's like any vendors or anybody or any media that actually want to join Back in the Day, hit up Nationwide Presents, and you guys can probably get in as well.
Yep. It's gonna be epic, y'all. So April 27th, but in March we got Deandra coming up first. She has her famous party. Is gonna be just as many stars there too. Tell them about that.
So March 30th, I am celebrating. So March 16th is my actual birthday, but I will be celebrating March 30th at the Bad Apple in Montclair, and we're gonna have performances from obviously the legendary Norman Carter, Elvia Cadena, Rich G. We're gonna have Lizzie G. Some of our past guests. We're gonna have Lizzie G there. One of our future guests, Homicide, the Real Homicide, is gonna be there. So hopefully you guys can make it out. And the way to purchase tickets now, so you don't have to purchase them at the door, go on my website, deandrachanel.com. And there's a link that's in my bio on a Deandra Chanel Designs, and you guys can get the tickets there, and they're only $25 a person.
That part. So
and we have 5 vendor spots available. So any entrepreneurs who want to be able to sell their product there, I have 5 spaces, and you can also purchase the vendor spot on the website too.
That part right there. Don't be late, y'all. It's going down the 31st, right?
The 30th.
Oh, the 30th, March 30th. Get your tickets now. Don't be late. It's going to be the big throwdown. Deandra Chanel live, her celebrating her birthday. Many people in attendance, great stars, great people to network with and have a good time. So make sure you're there. Don't be late.
And next week we have a buddy of mine, a dope DJ from the 90s by the name of Old School Functions. He's doing his thing, making his rounds. So he'll be here next week with us.
Yeah, so we'll continue this journey, man. We're changing the game every single week right here, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Pacific. G-Lew, Deandra Chanel. Shout out to our producer, DD Hairston. And it's not going to stop. It's only going to get better. I told you we got A-Line, the rock and roll gangster coming up soon. You know, we got a lot of stuff popping, man. We cooking. So don't be late, y'all. Stay tuned in with us.
Oh, don't forget, we got a couple people coming in from the Dev Band too.
Oh, come on now. So y'all ain't ready yet. Just stay tuned, people. Just stay tuned here every Tuesday night. You know, that's all I can tell you.
So that's it for us until next week, right?
That's it, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your week, everyone. Thank you for joining us. Again, Norman Carter of the legendary Delfonics blessed the show tonight. If you miss anything, just go back here, rewind, because we'll have it up right after this. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. And with that being